Question number 1127. What person whom you have never met has had the greatest influence on your life? Math pig.
Aye, because I said whom means I clearly know.
As opposed to not having a clue.
Yeah. Haven't a fucking clue. Come back to me.
Come back to you.
Question, that includes people we've met online but not in the flesh.
I think you've had to have had a one-on-one conversation with them online. This counts. Yeah, but... yeah. I was trying to think of a good example another way, but... Yeah.
Do they have to be alive, or can they be dead?
No, they can be dead now. No, they can be dead. No, they can be dead full stop, actually.
Okay.
What was the question?
What person whom you have never met has had the greatest influence on your life?
Oh.
I mean, I have an answer. Are you,
2 seconds.
You want...
The Lone Wanderer says Christopher Hitchens. Godless Sewing says Richard Dean Anderson. Ox says Sitting Bull. Mama Atheist says Carl Sagan. And Stool says don't all say stool at once. Mel.
Okay. So this is, I mean, I'm a scientist. So the person who had the biggest influence on my life would have to be Charles Darwin. And I'll tell you why. You're like, oh, that's just a go-to thing. Well, I actually was not taught evolution in high school. Wasn't taught in middle school. Didn't even know about it so well.
Really?
Until I got to college. Right. And so I returned to college in 2009. So I didn't have like a solid understanding of evolution. And so, you know, I had always been told, I was brought up in a very fundamentalist home. You know, we came from monkeys. I believed all that stuff. I'm like, that's what evolution is. This is ridiculous. It was oversimplified. And so I had been fed all of that. And so when I got to college and they explained evolution fully, that was the first time anybody had ever answered all of my questions on how did we get here? Nobody could ever do it. Nobody at home, nobody at school, nobody at church. Nobody would answer my questions ever. And they'd be like, God did it, or this or that or whatever, which, you know, okay. But at the time, you know, I just really wanted those answers. And so understanding evolution, understanding those simplistic, it's simple. It's freaking simple. To have that explained to me completely changed my perception on the world. And it was amazing when that happened. I'm like, this is what I wanted to know, like my entire freaking life, and nobody told me. So it was like,
Did you have questions about it all before you started learning?
yes.
I find it fascinating that you didn't learn that stuff till that age.
No, yeah, I
They
didn't know.
got more and more away from... They got more and more scared and taught less and less of it in American schools.
Yes.
There was a reasonable amount of teaching it at one point. 60s
Right.
going into the 70s.
Oh yeah,
A little
I
bit of
had it
that.
in like third grade.
Yeah.
But it was a profound moment for me. It was just like, it was the most wonderful, like euphoric feeling of having like, wow, this is amazing. And it was just great.
I don't really recall being taught evolution at science in school, to be honest. So then
If you went to a normal school, it would have been, but it wouldn't have particularly been called evolution.
No.
It wouldn't, because it's not a big deal.
Yeah.
It's just taught a basic biology.
Mm-hmm. Then again, then again, you know, I'm the shameful one who didn't even get my GCSE in science. So you know,
Wow, well, Mel, that changes my whole concept of you. That's really neat. That's really neat.
Well, I hope it was an okay concept prior to.
Oh yeah,
maybe it's all right now.
No, it's even better now.
Were you young Earth?
Do what?
Were you younger?
Was I younger? I hadn't formulated a full idea on that. I did think that the world was created in 7 days. I didn't know how long each day was. I was the kid in Sunday school who asked the questions and they said, we'll cover that next week. And then they never did. Yeah. So I asked all of the questions. And to be fair, I grew up Nazarene. Then I went to Baptist for a while. Then I went to Lutheran for a bit. Tried Pentecostal, became full Catholic, and I'm like, nobody's answering my freaking questions here. Why is this so? And then go to college, learn about evolution. No, I got it now. So it's like, so no, I wasn't like hugely popular in church.
So what year was this that you started to get the answers?
2010. Wow. Yeah, it was like 10 years ago. So yeah, for real, guys, I've been like on this high of knowledge for 10 years. It's amazing.
God.
Spooky apparently said stool. Nerdy says Trump because he screwed the world. Someone said God the good one. Oh yeah, here he said God the good one. Then they're talking about evolution. Lots of people. Math Pig.
Richard Dean Anderson. Between MacGyver and Stargate SG-1.
You don't think Gene Roddenberry's then a bigger influence?
Oh no.
Probably not. No. I no.
Hey.
Star Trek.
Gene Roddenberry couldn't build a freaking bomb out of like a paper clip and like a couple of things. He's got nothing on MacGyver.
Yeah. Never be defeated. There's always a way out.
Jeff.
I don't know, to be honest.
You don't want to go academic and go Marx?
See, I was thinking along those lines, but possibly if I'm going to go down those lines, I'd say maybe Tony Cliff, more of an influence on me than reading Karl Marx already. But I suppose, yeah, I suppose I could probably say something like Marx or Lenin or Rosa Luxemburg or something like that, but I don't know. I really don't know. I mean,
I'm surprised you don't go the Thatcher route then.
You could argue that's because it doesn't have to be a positive influence on your life, does it? So
no, it could be a negative one that spurs you into doing something.
I'd say Tony Cliff for actually as well being at one time able to recruit Christopher Hitchens into like a Marxist group was pretty much an accomplishment, I'd say. But I don't know. I suppose I'd have to go down those routes, but I think I've really kind of come out of the because I've also seen within that sort of political ideology, there's so much of it that there's so many people in that are like as dogmatic as any religious sect as well. So I've tempered a lot of that in the last few years.
That puts you in a good place, though. Brian.
Hey, yeah, I'm back on camera. There's a couple of people I thought about maybe going a different route than everybody else is thinking, because you could go with like Alexander the Great, who really kind of spread Western culture, which none of us would be where we are now if it wasn't for that. And then like maybe some of the early explorers that kind of spread our Western culture as well. Otherwise, we might be looking at a very different face of society and the world at large.
Very good. Jenny?
I suppose it would be a doctor by the name of Harry Benjamin, who I bet none of you have heard of.
No.
He's kind of the I don't know if anybody else gives him this title, but I would consider him like the father of modern gender theory and transgender treatment and diagnosis and stuff.
Do you know what the worst thing is? I think I read a paper by him About a week ago. I've just twigged that I'd heard the name.
Yeah.
See, I was. You've all gone a lot deeper than I was going to go. I was just going to go with Douglas Adams.
I love
Yeah.
it. Nice.
I was trying
Good
to think of the-
Omens. I know Good Omens is Terry Pratchett, Neil Gaiman, but watching that
Yeah.
series felt like I was watching a Douglas Adams. It felt like there's a lot of feel of that. I love Douglas Adams.
I love that. Getting a retweet from Neil Gaiman once just made my day. I must admit.
Neil Gaiman's awesome. Oh,
Yeah.
do you know somebody used Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy lines to pick me up in high school at a thespian conference? At a thespian conference, I was 15, and somebody comes up to me and starts talking about dolphins leaving the planet. I'm like, "You're a bit weird."
All right. Mel, in the interest of science, can I put that to the test right now? Just so
Sure.
I have
Okay.
my copy, but you know.
I'm much
No,
older
we-
now and very well aware.
Probably, I'd have to be a bit more.
No Vogon
sophisticated, but-
poetry, though. No Vogon poetry. We don't want our ears to explode. Although that's what it feels like when I hear Donald Trump talk. It's like I'm listening to Vogon poetry.
I could see Trump as
I
a
know
Vogon.
all the best poetry.
Person, woman, man, camera, TV. Excellent Vogon poetry right there.
I just think of the most pathetic person that's ever existed. The man is just so damaged.
Oh, God.
And yet you elected him.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did. You didn't vote
Don't
for him. You
dare.
did elect him.
Don't you
Dave.
dare say that.
Democracy.
Dave, we elected Boris, for fuck's sake.
No,
Come on, we got
did.
oh,
Down.
Yes,
can't
y'all also
take any high
elected to leave
grounds
the
here.
EU. Good one there, man. Actually landed in
that
London
could
the
be-
day that vote came out. I'll
that
never
could be a
forget
long. That could be a long conversation. That one.
If you enjoyed that, please hit the thumbs up button. If you didn't, hit the thumbs down. If you think you've got a better answer or just want to tell us how wrong we are, leave a comment down below. Subscribe down here for new questions every day and make sure you hit the bell so you don't miss out on our live shows. If you click over here, you'll see our latest upload. Over here, for what YouTube thinks you'll love the most. And finally, for a complete playlist of all our currently released questions, click here.